Welcome to Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour. I'm your host, DouglasB. Veterans Air is your source for news, talk, and commentary here on Lone Star Community Radio. You can listen to us live the first Tuesday of every month on veteransair.us or irlonestar.com, and of course, Conroe's FM 106.1 and 104.5. This month, we're going to spotlight a great veterans organization with deep roots in the Conroe community, the Veterans of Foreign Wars, VFW. In the studio today, we have District Commander Gary Bridges and Commander John Taylor of your local VFW Post 4709. And be sure to stay tuned to hear about the local events for May and June. We have a lot of things happening. Before we get started, let's do a little housekeeping today. You can contact Veterans Air through the website at www.veteransair.us or leave us a message on our brand new Google phone, area code 936-344-3083. Conroe, did you get hammered by the recent floodings? Because I know that I did. And I wanted to pass on something that I found out. One of the trees in my yard blew over and kissed my house. And Steve Davis over at Escape Tree Removal was kind enough to come over and take care of this for me on a moment's notice. Steve's a great guy, and I found out that he is willing to help us veterans. So if you need any more information, you got a tree down, call area code 281-389-0476 and ask for Steve. All right, let's get right into it. I'd like to introduce the VFW District 17 Commander Gary Bridges. Gary was born here in Conroe, but he grew up the son of an Air Force officer, so he lived in several states, including England and Germany. Gary enlisted in the Army in February of '66, and after basic training and advanced infantry training, he attended the Infantry Officers Candidate School at Fort Benning, Georgia. Hoo-ah! After receiving a commission as a second lieutenant, he was sent to jump school and then to the 101st Airborne Division and Jump Master School. In December of '67, he deployed to Vietnam as an airborne infantry rifle platoon leader. He left active duty in 1969 and transferred to the Texas Army National Guard, retiring in 1991. Gary has been a member of the VFW for 20 years, but he tells he has only been really active for about 10 years. In those 10 years, he has held several positions in the post before becoming commander. For 2 years, in 2012 and 2014, he was the number one Division 1, and that's post over 750 members, commander in national for both years. He has received numerous awards and honors and appointments, including the J.T. Rutherford Award, and that's the highest award in Texas VFW. He was elected District 17 Commander for the 2015-2016 year and has been appointed your Chief of Staff for the state for this year, 2016-27. Gary is married, has 4 grown children, and he lives here in Conroe. Commander Bridges, thank you for taking time out of your day today to talk with us, and I want to personally thank you for your service to your country. Since you are the District Commander, can you tell us a little about the history of the VFW and what the VFW stands for?
Yeah, Douglas. The VFW came about as a result of the Spanish-American War in 1898. As a result of that war, which was a 10-week war basically, we ended up not only with Cuba but with Puerto Rico and the Philippines and Guam. And therefore, we were scattered all over everywhere, and there was a lot of veterans of that war that were both either got sick or got wounded. They came home, they had no benefits. It was a pretty irregular military back in those days. They had no benefits, they had no medical care. They basically were just on their own, just turned loose on the streets. Didn't even have severance pay, most of them. So they wound up in 1899. They had several small organizations. They all wound up consolidating into what is now known as the Veterans of Foreign Wars. It's Veterans of Foreign Wars is an organization that is open to veterans who have served in designated areas or designated times and places that that the VFW considers to have been wartime or combat situations. They must have had their boots on the ground, or been in an airplane overhead, or on a ship directly supporting it in the territorial waters of those places. There's been many. Most of them, a veteran can prove his eligibility with a campaign medal from one of these places and times, or with various other things that shows up on your records when you leave the military. My eligibility, of course, was Vietnam. The Veterans of Foreign War stands, basically, we have a motto, no one does more for veterans, and that's what we've always stood for. And we have either the VFW or the VFW and the American Legion or any other veterans organizations have over the years sponsored almost all the legislation and helped pass all the laws that have delivered benefits to veterans.
I'm glad you bring that up, because most of us know that the VFW works with our government to secure benefits for the veterans. But are there specific programs that the VFW has to help veterans and their families?
Oh, there's more than I can name. We have such things as the VA healthcare. We have sponsored, pushed, and prodded and threatened and everything to get the VA health care in the first place, and then to keep it viable, which it's had its problems. We have programs for women veterans to make sure that they are also given the same benefits. We spend a lot of time on suicide prevention and homeless veterans, VA benefits and compensation.
That's a hot topic these days, and as a matter of fact, we have a show coming up. The next show, we're going to have the Military Veterans Peer Network advisor, Ashley, which I believe is one of your trustees.
Right.
She's going to talk about suicide prevention and what's happening with our veterans and why we're losing 22 a day.
Mm-hmm. VA benefits and compensation have definitely been on the front burner here recently. Most of the benefits, when they can be obtained by the veterans, they're hard to come by, and they're pretty insufficient in this day and age. Basically, they haven't raised in a long time. We work on seamless transition from the active services to civilian life, and try to assist those leaving military service so that they're not just lost when they get home. We work a lot for the quality of life of the active duty military also.
How's that?
Well, there are committees, of which I was on the national committee last year for defense and homeland security. We work with recommendations that we get from regular Army people that are regular Air Force or regular military anyway, that they don't like this, or they lack the necessary equipment, the necessary manpower, the necessary education, or whatever it is that the military lacks. Housing is a big issue. Constant deployments over and over for certain military occupations, such as combat troops. They meet themselves coming. But the quality of life for them, both in the States and overseas, is a big thing that we work on. We have a lot of political clout due to numbers. I mean, although our numbers aren't huge, 1.7 million VFW and auxiliary members scattered around the world, but they have a lot of relatives. They have a lot of friends, and we carry lots of political clout, especially when we team up with the American Legion and the AMVETS and the several other organizations that have the same goals. Education and employment, we work on programs with the government to urge Congress to improve the educational benefits that veterans have. I took advantage of the VA education when veterans education when I left the service the first time. POW, MIA, accountability, and things like that.
Yeah, I took advantage of the VA educational benefits and got my second degree through the VA benefit program. The vocational tech people down there at VA Houston, wonderful people to work with, and they sent me back to school to get a master's degree in business management. So, education works, but veterans need to go out there and find what it is that their benefits entitle them to and take advantage of it. Exactly. Which leads me to my next question. You got a couple of minutes before we go to station break. I've heard about the Benefits Delivery at Discharge program, the BDD, and this is for active duty members that are leaving the military and entering into civilian life. This is something that did not exist when I got out of the military. It's fairly new. 2010 it was started up. And I understand that the VA is involved in putting this thing together. Have you heard about this?
Yes. When a study was done on how to improve that transition, and especially as it pertains to veterans who may have disabilities or may have problems with civilian life, either physical or mental, and it was determined after a long study that it was easier and better if much of this was done in the last 6 months or 3 months before before a soldier leaves the service. He has full access to all his military records, his medical records. He can start his paperwork with the experts that are active duty people who are there to assist in that sort of thing. And it makes it so much easier than if he gets out, he's lost in civilian life, or he gets busy and he doesn't have time to do things, and then he can't find records. This greatly streamlines the situation of veterans getting any benefits that they might be due.
Well, you've heard it here. Brothers and sisters wearing the uniform, you're about ETS out of service. You need to go down to PAC, find out where your BDD program is on post, and go ahead and take advantage of that so you're not drifting in the wind when you take off your uniform. We're going to take a short break, and we'll be right back with Commander John Teller of Post 4709.
Been denied by that insurance company, or don't understand that complicated insurance report, or if you don't even know you have roof damage, we can help. We're Guardian Roofing and Exteriors, one of the few licensed roofers in Texas. We're certified with certainty, the best shingles in the business. So protect what's over your head and call us for a free inspection. We'll gladly take you through the insurance process.
Guardian Roofing and Exteriors, 713-230-8808. That's 713-230-8808.
Since 1776, countless men and women have given their lives in service to their country and their fellow citizens. Memorial Day is set aside to honor those gallant heroes and praise them for their sacrifice. This Memorial Day, pause for a few moments and offer thanks to those who have given so much for the freedoms we have today. This message is brought to you by the wartime veterans of the American Legion and this station.
Hey, Conroe, mark your calendars for the second annual Great Conroe Hot Dog Giveaway. Join the American Legion Post 411 on Memorial Day, May 30th, at Candy Cane Park from noon to 4. This free event is open to the public. Help us remember our fallen soldiers and stay for free hot dogs, refreshments, and live entertainment by the fabulous Cheyenne James. Visit www.americanlegionconroe.org for more information.
You are listening to Veterans Air on IRLoneStar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1.
And you're back with Veterans Air and your host, Douglas B. I want to welcome Commander John Teller of your local VFW Post 4709 to the show. John has served in the United States Army for 14 years as a paratrooper with the 82nd Airborne Division. He is an Iraqi veteran, serving 2004 and 2005, and leaving the service as a staff sergeant. John is a two-time All-State, All-American commander of the VFW Post 4709 here in Conroe. Commander Teller, thank you for taking time out of your day to be with us today. I want to personally thank you for your service to your country. John, tell us about a little history about the local VFW.
Well, thank you for having me, Doug. And according to my wife, this is my favorite topic because I don't never think or talk about anything else. But VFW Post 4709 was originally chartered in 1962. And if you sit around the post and you hear some of the older guys talking about it, it was a Quonset hut in the middle of a mud patch. And it stayed that way for years. And something that a lot of people don't know, that over the time between building the existing building and the Quonset hut, all that property behind it that is now Candy Cane Park once belonged to VFW Post 4709 and was donated to the city by the post. Just a little bit of history there. The best part of, not the best part, but the more recent history of VFW Post 4709, for the past 5 years, our post here in Conroe has been all-state, all-American, and leading the nation, really. We've been all-American for the last 5 years. Gary, who just stepped out, was an All-American Commander for 2 years. I've been an All-American Commander for 2 years, and Kenny Schissler, who was the commander before Gary, was an All-American Commander for that year.
Well, what does that mean, All-American?
Well, it encompasses a lot of things. There's the VFW Posts have several requirements that they're required to do throughout the year, but they're also goals. Our community service and Americanism programs, teaching the youth, educating them.
To be an All-American, you have to meet certain goals and perform certain programs and have a certain amount of membership.
Yes, sir. Yeah. And,
so, by being an All-American post, 4709 here in Conroe, I would assume that gives us a lot of clout and a lot of pull, both in the state of Texas and nationally. So our voices, or the voices of our members, are increased in importance due to the fact that we're all American.
Absolutely, Doug. And as far as VFW Post 4709, currently we're the largest post in Texas with over 1,500 members. So when I call the state of Texas, they know who I am, and they listen to, because VFW Post 4709 is normally leading the pack and setting the example and setting the standard for VFW Post nationwide.
I like that. I like to be the standard setter.
Well, this year, currently we are the number one Division I post in the nation again. So we do set the standard for the nation as far as VFW posts go.
John, Commander Bridges, he told us about the VFW as a whole and what the VFW stands for. And Gary, as past post commander, feel free to jump in here anytime you want to. At the post level, here in Conroe, what services does our post have for our veterans and their families? Because I know we have an auxiliary, too.
We do have an auxiliary, and our auxiliary also is leads the nation in the things that they do and their status as a VFW auxiliary. Some of the programs we have, more specifically to the post, people here in Conroe or in the Montgomery County area, if they have veterans have appointments at the VA hospital in Houston, if you schedule them for Tuesday morning, VFW here in Conroe has long every Tuesday morning sent a van with as many veterans as we can fit in it to give them free rides to the VA hospital and return. We also...
I want to interject here about this van because I was a van rider once. And David, thank you for taking me down. Here's the trick, guys. If you're a van rider, and that's what you'll be called by the VA down there in Houston, make sure when you schedule your appointments that you let them know that you're a van rider with VFW Post 4709. And here's why. That means that you're going to get your appointment, and they're going to get you out of your appointment so you can catch the van going back here to Conroe. Otherwise, you may be sitting there all day long. You know how it is. So this is very important. If you're a van rider, VFW is going to take you down, but make sure that you tell the VFW, the VA, when scheduling, that you are a VFW van rider. Sorry to interrupt there, but I had to get that out.
Oh, that's okay. And all that is free of charge, of course. And we also have an honor guard. Now our honor guard does over 200 funerals, military funerals a year. They're all volunteers. Most of them are retired, and those guys, they travel up to 75, 100 miles outside of Conroe to go do a military honors for departed veterans, and that is just the families. It does so much for the families and the members of the honor guard. I mean, they do it for free. They don't get paid. They're volunteers, and they wouldn't have it any other way. They're going to make sure that those veterans get a proper send off.
That's outstanding. We do, and I know the honor guard. It's combined honor guard, and they do a fantastic job. These guys are sharp. And listen, I've got to talk about our Post's award-winning barbecue team. Otherwise, Boogie's going to beat me. And about bingo. Barbecue and bingo are the staple here at the VFW. Can you tell me a little about both brothers?
Yeah, our barbecue team stays busy. We are involved in all charity barbecues that are in the area. Actually, I just sent the entry fees off this morning for a barbecue cook-off that's coming up to raise money to help find a cure for children's cancer. It's being put on by a church, but it's sponsoring MD Anderson and Texas Children's Medical Center downtown. You mentioned Boogie, and he is a staple of our barbecue team. And anytime we're serving food at the Post, which we do quite often, including Thanksgiving and Christmas, where we feed all the veterans and their families, anybody that shows up. That barbecue team is remarkable. It's made up of volunteers and veterans, and Boogie really leads it. And I don't know what we're going to do when we don't have Boogie anymore. It's going to take 10 people to take his place because that man just does not stop working.
Well, I thought the plan was that we were going to keep him around forever and ever and ever.
Well, yes. As long as possible. but we also they have another Cooking for Courage. If I could plug a cook-off that's coming up. The Cooking for Courage happens in Magnolia. This is the second annual one, and it benefits the Lone Survivor Foundation. So most of you listening, if you're in the Montgomery County, Texas area, then, or really if you're in the country, you've heard the Lone Survivor story, or you may even know Marcus Luttrell. So it benefits that foundation, and they do a lot of good work. So we go out every time we have the opportunity to support that.
I just watched the Lone Survivor, not last night, but the night before. It was on BBC America, of all places, and it just got me all fired up all over again. John, I know that the VFW, and especially our Post 4709, we have some wonderful programs for students and teachers. And I'm big on youth mentoring, and I'm big on teachers. My daughter's one. I'm a substitute teacher myself. Can you tell me about the Voice of Democracy and the Teacher of the Year programs?
Yes, sir. Excuse me. The Voice of Democracy is for high school students, and it's a scholarship program. And what the VFW does is it comes out with a theme every year, and these kids, it's a spoken word essay. So they don't turn in what they wrote down. They actually have to speak it and turn in a disc or a thumb drive to us. So, and the theme is always my vision for America, or what I would say to the founding fathers if I had the opportunity. Things of patriotic nature, and the VFW does. It's an audio essay, and the VFW annually awards more than $2 million in scholarships to students grades 9 through 12, with the first place winner receiving a $30,000 scholarship.
$30,000? Wow. Let me ask you a question. Is this Voice of Democracy, is it only open to juniors, or is it what grades does this cover?
9 through 12, all of high school. You can win it for 4 years if you start winning as a freshman.
Wow. So and the students, they can get more information to this from their guidance counselors?
From their guidance counselors, or you can go to VFW.org, and all the information on it is there.
So you heard it here, Mom and Dad. You need to pay for college because it's coming up. You need to take a look at the VFW and the Voice of Democracy. And these students, they don't have to be dependents of veterans. Is that correct?
No. They can have no affiliation to a veteran whatsoever. It's open to everyone.
So this is a true community program, true state program. And with $30,000 on the line, and you can win that 4 times, I'd be writing an essay and reading it.
And that includes homeschool children. I just did an award ceremony at the Post last week for our local winners, and several of the awardees were homeschooled.
I did not know that. We just did a ceremony here, a presentation here just recently for the Teacher of the Year. Tell me about this, because teachers are dear to my soul.
Well, the Teacher of the Year, damn, you caught me there. I'm stumbling up. Teacher of the Year, they're submitted not by themselves, but they're nominated by fellow teachers or the faculties in their schools. I don't have the information here with me on what they win. I know last year, 2014, 2015 VFW year, we had a teacher that came through Conroe, so she was submitted to us first, Miss Marianne Messenger, and she went as far as the state of Texas. So she won at the Post, and we submitted it to district. She won at district. She went to state, and she won at state. So we have some local teachers that are doing very well in that program.
So students out there, moms, dad, PTAs, associations, guidance counselors listening to my voice, you got an excellent teacher out there. You need to submit her for the VFW's Teacher of the Year program. Get her the recognition, or him the recognition that they duly deserve. And you can find more information about the Teacher of the Year program. You can either call the Post or check it out online at legion.org. We're about to go into station break, but before we go, John, how can people contact the Post? Where can they go to join?
You can either walk into the Post. We're located at 1303 West Seaman Street in Conroe, or you can call me at 936-756-7614. I'll be happy to help you out. Or you can go to our website. It's VFW4709.org.
Outstanding. Stay around. We'll be right back after these words and some weather and traffic. You're live at Veterans Air. Hey, Conroe, mark your calendars for the 2nd annual Great Conroe Hot Dog Giveaway. Join the American Legion Post 411 on Memorial Day, May 30th, at Candy Cane Park from noon to 4. This free event is open to the public. Help us remember our fallen soldiers and stay for free hot dogs, refreshments, and live entertainment by the fabulous Cheyenne James. Visit www.americanlegionconroe.org for more information.
You're listening to Lone Star Community Radio here at irlonestar.com, and also going to be on Conroe's FM 104.5, 106.1, where we do traffic at the bottom top of every hour. It is 1:29. You're listening to Veterans Air. But right now, let's do some traffic for the Montgomery County area. Looking around Montgomery County, I-45 northbound, southbound actually looks good to go all the way from Houston through Willis. 105 and also 1488 look good to go. Actually, I don't see any accidents or incidences around Montgomery County. So now's the time to get in your car and get to the place where you're trying to go. Weather-wise, it is 56 degrees outside, folks. That's pretty crazy, isn't it? Humidity is around 87%. With a slight overcast. Tonight will be clear with a low around 50, and the high today is going to be around 75. To give you a heads up for Wednesday, we expect it to be sunny with the high near 79. Winds up to 10 miles an hour coming from the north, and later in the night will be a low of 55. You are listening to Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. We're going to get back to Veterans Hour, here in a moment, right after these messages.
Been denied by that insurance company or don't understand that complicated insurance report, or if you don't even know you have roof damage, we can help. We're Guardian Roofing and Exteriors, one of the few licensed roofers in Texas. We're certified with certainty, the best shingles in the business. So protect what's over your head and call us for a free inspection. We'll gladly take you through the insurance process.
Guardian Roofing and Exteriors, 713-230-8808. That's 713-230-8808.
Since 1776, countless men and women have given their lives in service to their country and their fellow citizens. Memorial Day is set aside to honor those gallant heroes and praise them for their sacrifice. This Memorial Day, pause for a few moments and offer thanks to those who have given so much for the freedoms we have today. This message is brought to you by the wartime veterans of the American Legion and this station.
Coming right up on IRLoneStar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1. Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour. News, talk, and uncensored commentary for today's veterans with your host, DouglasB. We're pretty sure the Army didn't train him for this.
And welcome back to Veterans Air. I'm your host, DouglasB. We're talking live today with the District Commander, Gary Bridges, and VFW Post Commander, John Tellier. On our April 5th show, if you were listening, if you missed it, check out our archives at veteransair.us. We talked about the case of Sergeant First Class Martlin and the proposed Martlin Act. Sergeant First Class Martlin, and if you're not familiar with the case, please see the write-up at veteransair.us/Martlin. He had until May 1st to appeal a pending QMP, Quality Management Program, where they kick you out. Well, to bring you up to date, on May 28th, the Army Times reported that the Army has reversed course and has decided to allow this highly decorated Green Beret to stay in uniform. Sergeant First Class Martlin has won his case to continue to serve and protect his country. You can read the whole article over at veteransair.us. Check out the link. I got to ask, is it just me, or should our service members not be punished for doing their duty, doing their sworn duty? Well, that's my opinion. Speaking of duty, I'm about to do mine here. We're going to talk about the VFW's National Commanders article from April, and you can still read it out on the website. But today I want to talk about duty, honor, and sacrifice. And I want to remind you before I get into that you can leave your comments at www.veteransair.us or leave us a voicemail on our Google phone at 936-344-3083, and I'll try to get them on the air before we go. May 30th is Memorial Day. If you haven't been paying attention to every commercial break, this is the day that's heartfelt for all veterans, but I think more so for VFW and American Legion posts across this nation. Memorial Day weekend, we're going to see members of the VFW Post 4709 out and about town handing out buddy poppies. VFWs, along with the American Legion Post and other veteran organizations, will be visiting the graves of our fallen military and decorating them with flags, flowers, and unicorns. Memorial Day is a day of remembrance for our fallen. Traditionally, Memorial Day is the last Monday in May. But why? Okay, here's a brief history for all you history buffs out there. Memorial Day was originally called Decoration Day. It is a day of remembrance for those who have died in the service of the United States of America. Over 24 cities and towns claim to be the birthplace of Memorial Day, but Waterloo, New York was officially declared the birthplace of this holiday by President Lyndon Johnson in May of '66. It's difficult to prove conclusively the origins of this day, but regardless of the exact date and location of the origin, one thing is clear. Memorial Day was born out of the Civil War and a desire to honor our fallen. It was officially proclaimed on the 5th of May, 1868, by General John Logan, National Commander of the Grand Army of the Republic. In his General Order Number 11, General Logan stated, "The 30th of May, 1868, is designated for the purpose of strewing with flowers or otherwise decorating the graves of comrades who died in defense of their country during the late rebellion, and whose bodies now lie in almost every city, village, and hamlet churchyard across this land." The date of Decoration Day, as he called it, was chosen because it wasn't the anniversary of any particular battle. It's now observed in almost every state on the last Monday in May because Congress passed the National Holiday Act back in 1971. This helped ensure a 3-day weekend for federal holidays. That's right, Memorial Day is not the start of summer. Several southern states have an additional separate day for honoring Confederate war dead. And did you know that the Confederate veterans are United States veterans by an act of Congress? Yes, they are. Point of interest, January 19th in Texas, that's the day that we honor our Confederate fallen. April 26th is Alabama, Florida, and Georgia, and Mississippi. May 10th, South Carolina. And June 3rd, Louisiana and Tennessee. June 3rd is Jefferson Davis's birthday, by the way. Okay, you're asking yourself, great, Doug, but why red poppies? Since 1922, the buddy poppy has been an integral part of the VFW community. As VFW's official memorial flower, the poppy represents blood shed by American service members. It radiates that the VFW will not forget their sacrifices. The poppy movement was inspired by the Canadian Army Colonel John McCrae's famous poem in Flanders Field. Poppies were originally distributed by the Franco-American Children's League that Gary talked about just a few minutes ago. And this benefited the children in the devastated areas of France and Belgium following World War I. Back in 1922, the VFW conducted a campaign and got poppies from France. But they soon found out it was taking too long to get these flowers from France, and they came up with a better idea. Disabled, hospitalized, and aging veterans could make these paper flowers and ship them out to the members for distribution. And so it became known for veterans in the VA hospitals, homes, and state veteran homes, every day would be VFW Buddy Poppy Day. These men and women, they assemble the poppies, tie them in bunches of 10s, and pack them in boxes for shipment to the posts and ladies' auxiliaries. The VFW pays the disabled veterans for the work, and in most cases, this extra money provides additional income to the workers for the little luxuries in life that makes hospital life bearable. Furthermore, poppy assembly is often used as a therapy program to provide exercise for fingers and hands for those that are crippled by wounds, disease, and let's just face it, old age. Another reason poppies are so important is because all proceeds from distribution are used for veterans' welfare or for the welfare being of needy dependents and orphans of veterans. More than 2,100 children of veterans have been or are being cared for in the VFW National Home in Easton Rapids, Michigan, thanks to a portion of these poppy funds. So, as Paul Harvey used to say, now you know the rest of the story. Stick around. We're going to be back with the commanders, and we're going to tell us about what the VFW has planned for Memorial Day and where you can get your buddy poppies. So when you see them out there, you'll know what to do.
You are listening to Veterans Air on IRLoneStar.com and Conroe's FM 104.5 and 106.1.
Hey, Conroe, mark your calendars for the second annual Great Conroe Hot Dog Giveaway. Join the American Legion Post 411 on Memorial Day, May 30th, at Candy Cane Park from noon to 4. This free event is open to the public. Help us remember our fallen soldiers and stay for free hot dogs, refreshments, and live entertainment by the fabulous Cheyenne James. Visit www.americanlegionconroe.org for more information.
Since 1776, countless men and women have given their lives in service to their country and their fellow citizens. Memorial Day is set aside to honor those gallant heroes and praise them for their sacrifice. This Memorial Day, pause for a few moments and offer thanks to those who have given so much for the freedoms we have today. This message is brought to you by the wartime veterans of the American Legion and this station.
You're back with Douglas B. on Veterans Air, the Veterans Hour, reminding you that Claymore mines are stamped with front towards enemy for a reason.
And we're back with Commander John Teller. Memorial Day coming up 30 May. Big day for veterans. Commander, what does the VFW have planned for Memorial Day?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Doug. Memorial Day is, and as it should be, the biggest day for us at the VFW of the year. And we have a program, a large program at the VFW Post starting at 3 p.m. on Monday, May 30th, Memorial Day. And we'll have guest speakers. It'll be a heartfelt and touching ceremony. And we're planning on having barbecue plates, so come one and come all. You don't have to be a veteran. If you're in the community, please come on out and help us observe this solemn day.
Hey, Conroe, listen up. You heard it here. Head on over to the VFW, 3 o'clock for the Memorial Day service. Get a plate of ribs, some pulled pork. Boogie's going to be cooking. And listen, you really don't have far to go. The American Legion is also having an event there right behind the VFW at noon. So you can just, not even walk across the parking lot. It's right in the VFW's backyard. So I expect to see all of Conroe there. We're going to do poppies this year, are we not, Commander?
We are. And, as every year, we'll be doing our Buddy Poppy distribution. And we use this as a fundraiser for our relief fund where, we use those funds to help local veterans that are in a bind. And it's, a hand up most times. But as far as where you can get your Buddy Poppies, now you can come by the Post, but all of Memorial Day weekend, starting Friday, we'll be out at several stores in the area, including the Conroe Walmart, the Walden Walmart, all three Krogers in Conroe, the North, South, and West Loop, as well as Tractor Supply, and come on out and see us. We'll have people out there all weekend long, and
well, I want to put my name in right now, and for everybody that's listening, and I know you guys over at the Post are listening, BJ and I are buddying up for Buddy Poppy as we do every year, so forget what the sheet says. BJ and I from the Ladies Auxiliary, we're going to be doing our Buddy Poppies. Y'all come out and see me. I'll probably be at the Walmart, and get yourself a Buddy Poppy. They're free. We're handing them to everybody. Donations are really, really appreciated because they do go to help needy veterans with a hand-up program, not just for us guys to hang around the Post. Commanders, I want to thank you for being here. I'm going to invite you back anytime you want to come. Something going on at the local Posts, you make sure you let me know. Speaking of things going on, we have events for May. We have some big events. We actually have a clay shoot for you shooters out there, May 6th. This clay shoot is to raise funds for a van to take veterans to the VA appointments at VA Houston. Our current van is aging and needs to be replaced. This event's going to be at the Gun Emporium in Conroe. So if you're a shooter, you like shooting clay pigeons, you get on out there. For more information, contact Matt Dancer at 281-917-7561. Commander John told us about the 30th of May, 3 p.m., the memorial service at the Post. And just before that, on May 30th, starting at noon, the American Legion is going to have its second annual Great Conroe Hot Dog Giveaway. It's sponsored by the American Legion. It's from noon to 4 p.m. at Candy Cane Park. That's right behind the VFW. We're going to start the ceremony off with a brief memorial service, and our guest speaker is going to be County Judge Craig Doyle. Afterwards, we're going to have free hot dogs, refreshment, music, door prizes, and more. And while I'm talking about this event, I need to mention our sponsors here for this event because they really dug deep and helped us out this year. We have a gold sponsor of Caliber Home Loans. Thank you so much. We appreciate your support. You can contact Caliber Home Loans, and they do work with veterans. They're down in the Woodlands. You can give them a call at 281-948-5952. I want to thank the Military Veterans Peer Network. They're also a gold sponsor, dug deep this year as they did last year. If you want more information about the Military Veterans Peer Network, you can tune in next month on June 7th because Ashley's going to be here, or you can give her a call right now at 936-521-6132 for more information. I want to give a special thanks out to Omar Hernandez from State Farm Insurance in the Woodlands. Omar, thanks, bud. Hey, for more information about Omar and State Farm Insurance, you can give a call to 281-292-5433. VFW 4709, May 30th. It's a day to remember ceremony. We've been talking about it. It's a day to remember those who gave the ultimate sacrifice when fighting for freedom for this great country. You know, all veterans gave something. Some of them gave all. Let's remember and honor them. Coming up on May 19th, Warriors Refuge, Impact, Entrepreneurship, and Leadership panel. This is going to be held on May 19th from 6 p.m. to 8:30 p.m. at the Woodlands Waterway Marriott in the Woodlands. For more information, why don't you take a look over at www.thewarriorsrefuge.org for more information. I need to give a shout-out here to the sponsors of Veterans Air, because without them, heck, I wouldn't have anything to do on a Tuesday afternoon. So before I forget, Veterans Air is made possible by East Meets West Productions, a full-service business and marketing consulting firm helping vets start and fund their businesses for over 25 years. For more information, call 361-904-0044. And, of course, by the American Legion, Post 411. Post 411 meets the second Tuesday of each month at 7 p.m. in the Military Honors Room at Ryan's Restaurant on Loop 336. You can visit AmericanLegion.org for more information. And while I'm mentioning it, Ryan's, by the way, has a Military Monday. If you haven't gone over there, you need to go over there and get some dinner because it's some really good chow. Well, that's about wraps it up for our show. But remember to tune in on June 7th at 1 p.m. to Veterans Air here on veteransair.us on your Lone Star Community Radio for more news, talk, and commentary. We'll be spotlighting the Veterans Peer Network. And I want to leave you with this awesome song by the Warrior Project. Go download it from veteransair.us or on iTunes. And while we're listening, let's remember our brothers and sisters in uniform that are standing in harm's way, fighting for our freedom and liberties. And if you're wearing the uniform, I want to say to you thank you, and I'm proud of you. Until next month, stay vigilant and stay safe.
Thanks for checking out this production of Lone Star Community Radio, Montgomery County's community radio station. For more information on this show and other shows on Lone Star Community Radio, check us out online at irlonestar.com. If you're interested in sponsoring a program on Lone Star Community Radio and reaching the local audience of Montgomery County on FM, Internet, TV, media, please call 936-647-5747 or contact us online at irlonestar.com. This recording is a Lone Star Community Radio production produced by the show host and Dick Schissler of Lone Star Community Radio. Interested in volunteering as a music DJ or starting your own talk show? Contact Dick Schissler at dick@irlonestar.com or by phone at 936-647-5747.